Welcome everyone to another episode of Dynamics Corner. What does this glasses have anything to do with field service? I'm your co-host, Kris.
And this is Brad. This episode was recorded on January 7th, 2025. Kris. Field service.
226, man.
Did I say 26?
You said 2025.
Wow. So yes, look at that. New year, new season. A lot of new guests lined up. With us today, we had the opportunity to speak with John MacDonald to learn all about field service and more. Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah.
And I say this every year. Happy New Year.
Yeah, it is a happy New Year. It is.
But I think it's the first recording of the New Year, or is it the second? I don't know.
It's
the first recording
of the New Year. Yeah.
Look at that.
New
So
season.
welcome.
Well,
New Year.
Lucky me to be early in the year. Hey.
It
Yeah.
is.
Right.
But now I'll have to ask you the most difficult question that you'll be asked for the entire year. And I say this every year.
Oh yeah, we do ask. We ask the same question.
The first couple that we will speak with. How long do you say Happy New Year for?
Well, I've been wondering that myself. I think that this is it. I think this is our last Happy New Year that I'm going to do today. You know what I mean? Right.
So going forward, you're done. Is it the first time you see someone after the New Year for the month of January?
Wow.
Is it halfway through the month of January? Is it just the first week of January? Or I'm just wondering.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's the first week. The first week back, you can get away with the Happy New Year's, but that's it.
I think so. I think after this week, I'm done with it as well.
Right.
Maybe even today.
Yeah.
I think
Especially
today
in
will
emails.
be...
I'm tired of typing it in emails, right? Right.
Yeah.
No, it's happy holidays. I hope that your holiday was well and you had some opportunity to rest and blah 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 blah.
Right. Yeah.
So, but I do hope that you had a pleasant holiday.
But it is nice to hear what people do. Actually, I mean, many of us have known each other for a long time, so it is kind of good to hear what we're doing. Whether you hung out with kids or saw family or went away. So it is nice to hear about that.
That's good. So what did you do?
Good.
So I had a pretty full house. I'm sandwiched between kids that have left the house and come back periodically for holidays, and parents that are in their late 80s. So we had a bumper crop of visitors for the holiday.
Oh, nice.
We needed.
Yeah,
it was busy.
Entertaining's tough. It's a challenge. It's one of those things. Also, if you do it at home, you host at home. Sometimes you spend so much time preparing, making the house look nice, and you have to spend twice as much time after everybody leaves to put everything back together. I almost wonder if you just leave it. Just leave it a mess.
The cleanup is the worst, man.
It is.
Yeah, hosting is hard.
It is the worst. But it is nice, to see everybody, especially when you've got elderly parents, you know what I mean? It's pretty important to them, right? They really relish the opportunity to see kids and all that sort of thing.
You hit on something. It's extremely important to me. I wanted to get into that. The time that you spend with people. I'm getting older. I'm not in my 80s, but I'm pretty close. It's time is the most important thing.
Yeah.
I had conversation with some individuals. I even tell my kids and my family, just spend time with me. Like, don't get me anything for the holidays. Don't get me anything for Christmas. Just sit down and talk to me. I tell other individuals. You had mentioned your parents are in their 80s, so they're a little old. I was talking with someone, and they were talking about what do they get their grandparents, and I said, you know what? Go to lunch with them.
Yeah.
Don't use your phone and just ask them about their life.
That's right.
I said that will be the best lunch that they've had in their life, because they'll spend time with their grandkids. Their grandkids will be attentive to their conversation and learning a little bit about them. And then I said to them, you'll also learn a little bit about your family history. If you talk with your grandparents and they explain a little bit of how they grew up or how they did things, you don't need to buy them anything. And when I say go to lunch or dinner with them, I'm sure they'd be happy going to McDonald's.
Let them share stories. Let them share stories.
100%. That's what they want, is they want the time with the grandkids or with their kids.
You know what though, at the same time, like I wish I wish it I had some of the recordings. Like I know we talked about AI. We've talked about this before too, Brad. And you know, if you can capture all the stories that they've ever had, and you know, pictures and audios of them, you know, and just be able to, you know, collect all of that, that'd be fascinating. You know, I had missed that opportunity when my grandfather was growing up, but I heard a lot of stories from him. I just wish that I had a moment to kind of record some of those things, because it is pretty fascinating.
That is
That's
important.
a great idea.
It is a great idea. And Kris, you're wearing glasses again.
I am wearing glasses again, but it's not the usual glasses I've ever had before LASIK, right? So John, I used to wear glasses all my life. Since I was maybe 10, 13 years old, around that time, and got LASIK last year.
Okay.
Didn't have any wear glasses for a while, and then
now he's back. But do it.
Back.
Tell me what's in front of you.
Hey Meta, what's in front of me?
Yeah.
In front of you is a laptop with a video call on the screen and a ring light above it.
There you go.
Look at that. Those Meta glasses. How are they?
They're fantastic, man. It's a great POV. Instead of me pulling out my phone to take a quick photo, especially moments when, like we were just talking about, spending time with family, right? And then for me to be able to say, hey, take a picture or take a video, just to capture the people in front of me and all that stuff. And yeah, there's weird oddities for those things. Like people kind of like, oh, you're taking a picture, stuff like that. But it's nice because I don't have to pull up my camera every time. Like, for example, I had dinner with my kids, and I just like, hey, you guys are all right in front of me. And it's like, I just want to take a picture from my perspective, and then be able to, this thing like can solve math problems, like whatever's in front of me, and say, hey, can you solve that for me? It will take that image and solves it. It's so fascinating that.
Does it display anything on the screen?
I don't have the Meta display right now. That I think there's a different version of that. I think it's a Meta display, which has a display in the front, but that one is also a little bit more expensive, like 3 times the cost.
Well, I'm interested to hear how your experience is with those.
Yeah, me too.
And we have a lot we'd like to talk about. Before we get into that, John, do you mind telling us a little bit about yourself?
Oh, great. Yeah. So, name is John MacDonald. I live in the greater Toronto area. As you probably heard, I've got 2 grown-up kids. I am the managing director of a small software company called ExpandIt. We're a small international Microsoft ISV with a field service solution. So that's sort of my day and sometimes night job. I've been basically in this space, in this Microsoft Dynamics space for pretty much all my life. I can share my journey a little bit later. So that's kind of my story. What else do I enjoy personally doing cross-country Nordic skiing. I've gotten into that in a pretty big way in the last 4 or 5 years. I actually compete as a masters now, cross-country skier.
Wow.
Wow. That's impressive.
That's kind of what I'm doing. Hey, I'm a Canadian. I still play men's ice hockey. Beer league is really what it is. Actually, it's not men's. Actually, it's multi-gender now. That's really changed. So I should correct myself. The 3 of the
so you're in a beer league.
Players in our league are women. So I call it a beer league. That's really what it is. But I do that. In fact, I played last night.
I thought lacrosse would be the more of a national sports for Canada.
Lacrosse is big, but I would still say the real the real passion is ice hockey, I would say. But yeah, no, lacrosse.
That makes sense. I played lacrosse for
so did I.
6 years.
We did both. We often played lacrosse in the summer, and then hockey in the winter.
And then hockey, yeah.
Nice.
All right.
So You like the Bruins, I understand.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, maybe no.
I don't understand why the why the Canadians, not the the Montreal Canadiens for starters, but why all Canadians dislike the Boston Bruins? But that's
just because they're just a really great opponent, and they've kind of had the best of, I think, our teams many times, right?
So everybody hates a winner. Why?
Well, I don't know if it's that. We sometimes hate losing more than we like winning, right? Have you ever heard
Well,
that?
no, we hate winners. We hate losing, but
we
hate winners.
We hate winners. I don't think we hate winners. I think I admire the fact that they're winners. I hate losing. Right?
No, so ExpandIt. ExpandIt, small software company, ISV. You work with field service. Can you tell us a little bit about ExpandIt? And ExpandIt, how long has ExpandIt been around?
Yeah, so probably over 23 years now. So the company, the two main founders, Otto and Robert, started the company over 23 years ago. Originally with where they saw some gaps in the Navision product. And this was right after the Microsoft acquisition. So they built some, utilities that solve some problems. Many people still even use those. We still have customers using those utilities. So the company started a long time ago, actually. It's a private company, right? Been around a long time. So well known to a lot of the channel partners. So that's how the company started. I joined about 13, 14 years ago, at the time that the company pivoted very hard into field service.
So now it specializes more in field service.
Yes.
And you said the utilities when I started. I'm saying ExpandIt because I think I remember back when I first started with Navision. It was back 1998 version 1.1. But I remember one of the gaps was backups.
There was
Didn't they have the ExpandIt backup tool to automate the backups? That back before there was SQL, and you had
exactly still being used by some old legacy, Navision customers. But but like any ISV, you've always got to be agile, right, and pivot right into new opportunities. So that's where and that's what the company did about 15 years ago when I joined. And I was actually at Microsoft at the time, so I joined the Robert and Otto, and we started up the North American business. So that's my focus, is operating the North American subsidiary.
Excellent. Wow. So with field service, can you tell us a little bit about the field service? So with which applications does the field service module, I guess you could call it, or the ISV or application work with?
So we have a standard integration to both Microsoft Dynamics Business Central and also finance and operations. However, over 90%, maybe 95% of our focus and customer base is Business Central. Primarily because our business model is to focus on small and medium-sized businesses. So it effectively, when we're marketing and developing kind of new channel partnerships, which I spend a lot of time doing, we're primarily focused on the Microsoft Dynamics Business Central product and channel.
Okay, great. So you have an integration, a built-in integration with Dynamics, Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central. Does it work with on-premises and with the online environment, or does it work with just online?
We still support on-premise Business Central environments. That's not our preference. It's so much easier for us to support a cloud-based Business Central environment. We run in Microsoft's Azure environment as well. Just the ability for us to support customers in Microsoft's cloud environment is our strong preference. So, we're certainly predisposed to see customers in cloud-based Business Central.
I mean, the cloud has come a long way since they first started with the cloud infrastructure, to where I see it's becoming, I guess, more performant, more stable. I say that tongue in cheek sometimes. And then it's more performant, more stable. So it's a little bit easier for organizations to get in. Like you said, once you have that cloud environment set up, you sort of just move with it. So with field service, and you mentioned on premises, how far back does it? Which versions do you support for the on-premises versions?
It's always kind of debatable, and it often has to do with our relationship with the customer or the partner. but I would, we are supporting, I would say, 2 or 3 kind of versions back.
Okay.
But that's about it. And because truthfully, customers and primarily partners, they want to see their customers migrate to, right, to Business Central Cloud. And
So you, in essence, follow the Microsoft support cycle
we
as well.
really
So,
do. We support.
yeah.
We 100% follow their support cycle. And
Oh,
we're a
that's good.
mid-sized independent software vendor. We're 65 people, right? So we do not have unlimited resources, and we also have to, be efficient with our support model as well. So
No, I understand that.
That's good.
It's even makes more sense. With a lot of customers now moving to Business Central Online, the need to support a lot of those older versions sometimes decreases because with your Business Central Online, you upgrade. You're sort of forced to upgrade at a certain interval, not always to the latest and greatest, but you have some months to move up. So
yeah,
for someone such as an organization such as yours, it's good to support. So
just an add on to that, one thing that often is relevant to us when we talk to a customer, and they say, "Hey, you know what? We want to get to Business Central." That's actually, and they kind of give us a strong feeling that they're serious about it. That often encourages us to support them on their journey to get there. So that's relevant to us. If they say, "You know what? We want to get to Business Central," then we're more likely to want to support them in a on-premise scenario and work with them to get them there. I will actually add one more thing. We also 18 months ago built a connector for GP on premise.
Oh wow!
And I'll tell you why, because we're seeing so many GP customers contact us, right, saying, we have a vision to get to Business Central in the next 18, 24 months, but it's really hard for us. Like, it's a big lift for a lot of these mid-sized businesses to, it's as we always talk about, changing your ERPs, like getting your teeth pulled. It's hard work, right? It's painful, and so
I think it's like a heart transplant.
It's like that,
to be
right?
honest with you.
So we actually have we've actually seen a number of GP customers adopt our product because they have a vision to get to BC in the next 12, 18 months.
Speaking of the product, I hear field service all the time.
Yeah.
And I have no idea what field service is.
That is really not unusual, right? Because it is it's a big
broad term.
It's a broad
yes.
broad term. In fact, it's actually hard for us to do marketing around field service because it is so broad. So I'll try to kind of share my perspective on what that means. And for me, it's any company that performs a service in the field that has field-based operations. So, those could be your traditional companies like HVAC or generator repair companies that are out there fixing and repairing and installing machines and equipment. We see an awful lot of that, right? That's what a lot of people tend to think about when they think about field service. But it is much broader than that. There are lots of businesses that perform a service, a type of service in the field. I'll give you an example. We have customers that perform services, agricultural type services in the field. They're not fixing a machine, but they're outperforming maybe veterinary or other types of services in the field. And they've got field-based technicians out there that have to capture information. They need to do scheduling, and they need to capture data and information when they're out there using and capturing their time and materials consumption, and actually capturing digital forms when they're out there. We see a lot of construction related companies. Construction, you don't necessarily think of as field service, but they are people that are out there, building buildings, equipment, or whatever, dwellings for different sort of things. So that's a big, broad space as well. We also, I'd say, finally see a lot of companies that don't even think about themselves as field services companies. They might think about themselves as a manufacturer. So maybe they're a project-based business that has to assemble a crane system or a conveyor system in-house. And then they send out a crew of people to install that crane system. And then they service that crane system. But in their minds, they think about themselves as a manufacturer. And we see a lot of that in Business Central. So we see a lot of these, engineer to order, make to order manufacturers that are out there, assembling something and then installing it and maintaining it. So
field service, it's a great explanation. I understand, and I was thinking of a lot of those in business, or the different types of businesses that would benefit from field service, as you were talking about that. So field service, you have an integration with Business Central, so you have some sort of mobile device, I'm assuming, that a technician, for the conversation, I use the word technician depending upon which industry they're in, can go out and perform their functions.
That's right.
And which mobile devices do you use? Do you provide the mobile devices, or is it part of your service, or does you have an application that works on different types of devices?
Yeah. So I'll take the mobile device part of our solution first, but I would say that, there's multiple problems that we solve for these sort of customers. And you've hit on one, maybe one of the key ones is when you've got field workers out in the field, they essentially want to do their work. These field technicians, they've got to repair something, install something. These are men and women that care very much about solving problems out in the field, and they just want to get the work done and capture it effectively. Traditionally, they've been using paper, right? They've been using a pencil, right? And a piece of paper to kind of capture the components, the items that they might actually use when they're doing an install or repair, and capturing the time they spend so they can bill ultimately the company for what they do. They're also filling out traditionally a lot of paper reports, compliance and checklist reports, punch lists, field ticket type reports out in the field. So what we do is we have a mobile application. It works online and offline, which is one of the key requirements, because you're often maybe somewhere remote in a field or in a basement or on a rooftop where you don't have reliable mobile connectivity. We also run on any sort of device and form factor. So the product runs, iOS, Android, any sort of device, a phone, a tablet, a PC. So we make it easy for the field worker to work in the form factor or the device that they're comfortable with, because that's key, right? Just making it easy for them. It's purpose built for the field worker. So we understand that they're out there working. They want to get their work done quickly. They want to capture things, drag and drop, touch screen. So purpose built for that kind of field-based work, made to make their job easy, because the worst thing you can do is complicate their lives. Otherwise, they'll look for they'll look for excuses not to use the solution, right?
No,
like we all would, by the way.
No, listen, you hit that. It's you. Most people want to do their job, and they want to do their job well,
right?
And they need the tools to make it easy. They shouldn't be using they shouldn't have to worry about using the system. They should have to worry about providing the service, and then the system is the tool that allows them to do what they need to do properly. And I agree with you. People take the path of least resistance all the time. I hate to say that. It's very easy for someone to forgo doing something if you make it too complicated for them.
That's correct.
So you work with all those form factors, offline and online, which is a question I have, because again, as you had mentioned, mobile connectivity, you can be in the most wired metropolitan area, but if you're in that basement or in some building, or even I've been into some facilities where just the makeup of the machinery was making for a poor signal for someone to be able to connect. So
100%. I was just talking to a customer in the last couple of weeks, a longtime great customer of ours that installs septic systems in environmentally sensitive areas, on islands, in areas where there's not a lot of soil material. So they've got some patented technology that's really unique, not your typical run-of-the-mill septic, but specialized patented technology for these environmentally sensitive areas. And because of where they are, on islands and in the middle of nowhere, cell connectivity is really spotty for them, right? And so the ability to kind of work offline is mission critical. And we see that with a lot of our customers.
That would work really well where I'm at, because when we had someone come out here and service our septic, because I have a septic system, they could not get any signal, so they had to walk out to the main road
You've seen that
to get connected. But
and
I told them, you guys don't have any offline capability in your tool? And they're like, no.
Well, no, you'd be surprised how important that still is, and actually how important and how actually difficult it is to reliably build a solution that works online and offline. You'd think that would be easy, but the technology is kind of one of our core competencies that really differentiates us.
Data synchronization when you're dealing
Right.
with online and offline systems is a challenge. So this synchronizes, or you have a connector. I don't want to use the word synchronize. You have a connector to go into Business Central.
We do.
What does it work with? Does it work with sales orders? Does it work with sales orders, production orders?
Right.
So now we have connectivity,
Right.
and we have somebody working with something, and they have a nice device. And I still have a lot of questions on the mobile connectivity, because I had some, just like Kris, I had somebody come do. I think everybody has somebody come do service where they live. Doesn't matter where you live.
Okay.
Most of the time, you have somebody come do service. What does it connect to? I mean, you have customers, you have vendors, you have all this type of stuff within
Business
Central.
So we're getting into some good Business Central stuff, right? So first off, we connect with a lot of the general entities in BC, right? Dimensions and items, customer records. So there's some general Business Central entities that we integrate with. For instance, when you're out in the field and you're consuming an item, we're able to consume an item from a warehouse location that might be a field technician's truck stock. So we allow you to consume that from Business Central, from inventory locations. Those are some examples of some general entities. But specifically where we send the time and the materials back to are two main areas in Microsoft Dynamics Business Central. We have a standard integration to the Business Central Projects module and to the Business Central Service Management module. Those are the two main areas that we see most field-based companies use. Sometimes they'll use one. In many cases, they'll use both. I'll give you some examples. So if you are kind of more of a project-based company where you're going out and doing project-based work that might take multiple days or weeks or even months, the Business Central Project module is super for that. The problem is that in Business Central, you can't create a field work order. So we enable that. So our product allows you to use Business Central projects and create a work order that you can capture time and material. We bring that data back into the Business Central project module. We also see a lot of customers that are doing more traditional break fix type work. And you can see where I'm going. That's where the Business Central Service Management module works very effectively, right? They've got some concepts around preventative maintenance contracts. You can create them in Business Central. That's what we look at as structured data that is all maintained in Business Central. You've also got the concept of a service item. So you can create this concept of a service item in Business Central, and we can create a service order and expand it against that and track all the history against the service order. That's very important for a lot of businesses that have an asset out in the field that they want to have all the history tracked against, and they also, if they have these contracts. So we support both of those integrations. I'd say 30 or 40% of our customers will use both projects and services and service management, because they'll go out and install something and they'll use projects for that, and then they'll turn it into a service item and they'll want to track all the history against it over
that makes
warranty
sense.
work.
Whereas if that's what I was thinking. Is like you build a house and you may have some warranty work and you may need to go out and service the parts.
Yeah.
So you're talking service orders in the field. I had somebody come by here to perform some services, and people like to get paid.
We do.
I don't know if you know that, but it's
a
new concept.
Well, that is one of the problems, right? They want to do their best work for sure, but they want to get paid for it as soon as possible.
Yes.
And that's a big problem for service-based businesses if they're on paper.
It is,
right?
So with this, do you handle field payments? I had someone come do some work, and I was able to just tap right on the device to before he left, because they don't leave until you pay them.
Super question, and actually really timely for us, because traditionally most of our customers have been business to business customers, where they're an existing customer in Business Central, right? And you're invoicing through Business Central. We've noticed in the last 2 or 3 years that there's businesses, customers of ours, that are maybe doing a combination of both, and in those cases, so a combination of business to business and some business to consumer type work, right? And in those cases, they want to be able to take payments in the field. So this quarter, we are going to be launching payments available through our mobile application. So It's not a necessarily
Fantastic.
a huge lift for us, because what we talked about our mobile field service application, but there's actually two other components to our solution that I can highlight as well. One of
No, we definitely. I
is
want to highlight those just to go back to the
that
payments.
supports payments already. So we have an existing customer self-service portal that has supported customer payments for many years. So we'll be leveraging that with our mobile device to take payments, because that's critical. I'm glad you brought it up.
It is. And with that payment portal and your soon to be released payment option for the mobile field service application, do you work with specific payment gateways, payment providers, or can the customer use an existing payment gateway, payment provider with your technology?
One of the great things with us, we've been in the Business Central ecosystem, so we look at kind of what are some of the other major payment gateways and providers, and we do our best, and we have done our best in the past to support those. So, I mean, we're always on the lookout, right, for new and upcoming solutions, and there's a lot of innovation going on there. But for the most part, we support. We work with other, and that's one of the benefits. We're kind of talking about kind of as a Microsoft ISV. We don't have to create everything ourselves. In fact, if we had to, it would be impossible for us to compete, right? We're 65 people. We need to be very focused on where we can differentiate. But when it comes to other things that we're not experts in, like payments, we leverage the ecosystem and we work with the other players out there. And
I like that.
Right? I like that.
I like that. And the reason why I like that, and again, just from the conversation point of view, it's important to offer a solution to a customer. Oftentimes, I come across individuals working on implementations, or you come across other products. They try to be the know-all, end-all, one-stop shop, as you say, which sometimes it doesn't allow you to specialize in what you do. If it's almost like if I do everything, I'm not doing anything good.
100%.
Whereas if I can focus on this, but hey, I have a solution that works well with this. They focus on payments, used to use your example. I focus on field service. Somebody else focuses on Business Central. Put that together, at the end, you have a happy customer for everybody because they were able to solve their problem, which goes back to something I appreciate what you said at the beginning, is solving customer problems, because that's what we all do. And we all need to remember that's what our focus is to solve the problems for the customers, and they can utilize the technology that you have to do that.
I think we'd be crazy not to take advantage of, I mean, that's kind of why we all made a bet on this Microsoft ecosystem. At least we did at ExpandIt many years ago, and why we continue to stay here is there's this ecosystem of, specialized, different solutions that we can leverage. So, and it allows, as you said, Brad, us to stay laser focused on adding value where we are uniquely positioned to do so.
These partnerships are very, very important in this space.
Yeah, it's getting more and more important as time progresses. It's technology is moving fast, and solutions are moving fast, and I think problems are getting bigger fast. So how you solve those problems is going to be important. So you had mentioned you had the mobile service. You said you had other options. You decided to talk about the payment portal that you have.
You're right.
What other,
there's some other major problems that customers have. One is they need our customers have mobile workers. They need to collect data and information real time in a reliable way. They do that on the ExpandIt mobile app. So that's one of the big problems. There's also another big problem, and that's scheduling. That's getting the right people with the right skills and equipment to the right job in a timely way. So that's another big problem that companies that have field operations have and struggle with. I mean, when you've got 2 or 3 technicians, it's not so much of a problem. You can use a whiteboard, sticky note.
Yeah.
But once you get 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 field workers, that becomes quite complicated, getting the right people out there and being efficient with your people and resources. So we solve that with a web-based scheduling and planning board. And again, that's something that is a bit of a gap in Business Central. So you can do planning and scheduling, but when you do more complicated scheduling, you're often looking for something that's visual, that has drag and drop capabilities, that has map-based capabilities, that can help you filter and see people with different skills. So we offer a web-based scheduling and dispatch tool, again, completely integrated with Business Central, and connected to our mobile application. So as field workers are doing work in the field, the schedulers see what's happening out in the field. They can assign groups of people together, crews as we call them, because often our customers aren't just sending one person; they're sometimes sending 3 or 4 men and women out to a job. Sometimes they're sending specialized equipment, lifting equipment, or specialized diagnostic equipment that has to go with them. So that's a complicated problem as well.
I can imagine. It's as I had mentioned.
That is
you
a
have
challenge.
You have
yeah. So we solve that piece as well.
Expertise.
And then the third piece, Brad, that I already hinted or we already talked about was something that allows the end customer to be involved. So we have a customer self-service portal as part of our solution offering as well that allows the end customer themselves to place a service call, to see the status of work that's going on, because we have many customers that have multiple facilities, so they can see what's going on. I mean, there's nothing worse, right? And I experienced this in my life that, it's the end of the day, you got something broken at your business or in your home, you call and you get voicemail and you're just unsure whether anybody's ever going to come. So we provide a customer self-service portal that allows the end customer to kind of log in, say that this service item or this component is broken, needs service. I need somebody to come out. You can do it after hours or on the weekend or whenever it is. If you've got multiple business locations, you can tell your service company where it needs to be serviced and what item it is. You can take a picture, you can add notes. So that is also a big part of it. And it does more too. You can also actually, the end customer can see all those forms and documents that are filled out in the field. They can even pay invoices and see Business Central documents that might be sent, credit memos and other sort of things. So it really is.
I'm more excited about that because as an end customer, so again, it's an end customer of a customer of yours.
Correct.
I had to have a repair done, and it was great that I could log in and to go with it. I was able to see where I was in the stops. Like they said, again, it goes with the scheduling. The technician was, 2 stops ahead of you. They always give you the window, right? So you're doing the schedule window. They'll be here between, 11 and 3.
That's right.
But at least if you can log in and you can see where they are, it's impressive. Does your system handle?
If it can show, hey, that somebody, that's for many cases, that's what the customer's worried about is, has somebody heard me? All right.
Yes.
Am I
That's
being,
the common complaint.
That's the common complaint, right? And we're all in the business of support, right? We all do, software support, so we know how problematic this is, and often it is about letting the individual or company know you've been heard. Here's what we're doing. Maybe we've triaged it, or we've dispatched a service technician. They're en route. They're going to be there. And if there's also communication and notification capabilities that is automated, so that when you dispatch or when a service technician accepts the work order, it can send out a message to the customer saying that was my next question. They're going to be there, right? And whatever.
I think there's 2 challenges that you had mentioned that I think it's like one of the most frustrating. One is like you both said, not knowing is one of the most frustrating part when something's not working, something's broken, and you don't know what's happening. It's one of the most frustrating component in the service place. Number 2 is utilization, right? Efficient utilization of your service workers that are out in the field, where someone's overworked versus someone like, hey, they're not doing much. Being able to have a proper scheduling and seeing that. And then, of course, self-service, which is sort of the third component that is one of the most challenging part in the service industry. And sounds like you've answered all 3. That is, through your product. But I get it.
Well,
there's so many times that people work in my work.
This is a really
sounds like you're doing it right.
We're trying very hard to do it, and we've been working hard at this for the last 20 years. But it is really challenging. I mean, being a service-based business, there's a lot of them. First, it is a good market to be in. There's a lot of service-based businesses in globally in North America. But their business is challenging. You talked about this, Christopher, that just you've got to be efficient with your assets, your resources. That's not easy. We know that as software and services companies, how challenging that is. But I would say what's especially challenging right now for so many of our customers is finding and retaining resources. field service people, because our primary focus are customers that are doing work on, I'd say, more sophisticated assets. So people that are repairing a complicated machine or component, these people have sometimes very specialized skills, and I've been following this closely for the last 5 or 6 years. There is a real glut or lack of kind of qualified resources. Our customers tell me this. I speak to them all the time. In fact, I often speak to the owners and presidents of one-on-one, and I say, hey, what's on your mind? What are your challenges? And just saying, finding, retaining qualified people is really challenging, right? And if you're not giving them tools to be efficient, then it's hard to retain them, because the world has changed. I remember, just one more thing. I remember 15, 20 years ago when we started, one of our challenges was getting actually field-based personnel to adopt technology, to use mobile devices. That is 100% flipped. If you don't have technology for a mobile field worker today, because in many cases these are now millennials that are coming into the space, they're like, I'm not working here. I'm not writing this thing on a piece of paper. They expect technology to make them more efficient. So,
yeah, no, I got to share a personal story that why it's important. So especially for small businesses, small medium businesses. I just had someone come out and service so I have a wood pellet to heat my house, and it's a very complicated system depending on the brand and model you have. And I'd call this company, and they've done service for us, and they lost 2 of their technicians, and they can no longer service. I mean, they sell obviously these products, but their service was, it's no longer. They're no longer doing any service work because they could not keep and maintain those two technicians. But I agree. Maintaining, so you sounds like you're solving a lot of stuff here. One is you're having a technology that keeps people be able to function and do very well at their job. Scheduling, making sure that they're efficient with time and utilizing their people as best you can. The service portal, which is a self-service, which is, as you had mentioned, with millennials coming into place where they make decision makers, they prefer some, the ability to do their own self-service. And then, of course, proper communication, which is a big component in the service industry. People don't realize that the service industry, what differentiates you is the how efficient and with the best support you could provide, the best customer service you can, because everybody can repair something. Like you may have competitors, but it's the people that can properly communicate with the customer is usually where people come back to.
It's often about
communication.
It's about
is the
that.
key.
It's the communications. It's the experience. It's the trust, right, that you have in that provider.
No, and that is the most important. That is, I don't want to say the most important, but that is becoming the most important thing today with technology, is building those This is what I'm saying. So it's my opinion, I guess you could say. But what I see is people are more interested in building that trust and relationship with a person, because now we have technology to do so many different things.
Right.
So you don't, you become trusting in the technology. And Kris, to add on to what you had said, communication, it's not just in the service industry. Communication is key in every facet of life, because a lot of problems are caused by poor communication. And it's not even intentional. It's just poor communication causes a lot of issues. So it's good to hear. No, it sounds like it's thank you for sharing, a little, enlightening me on exactly what field service is. And now I think a little bit more clearly about, or not even clearly, think a little bit more what's involved anytime I have to have somebody come provide service, at home or at other locations, and what they have to do to work with it. And, maybe I should start thinking about fixing some fancy machinery. If there's not a lot of people out there for
it. Well, it is true. I mean, you right now that if you're a young person, I'll tell you, there's a real need for, great, skilled field service people, right? There's a real need for that right now in the world, right? And then they can be specialized in what they're doing. It's a very rewarding type of work. They're fixing and solving problems and working on complicated machinery. It's a great vocation. What I'd recommend.
No. I got to point out.
It does sound interesting.
I gotta point out the importance of that, right? Because like my house runs in a boiler, right? I have a boiler room. Believe it or not, my house is a boiler room, and I was very surprised the last time I've had someone service out here. They're typically a little bit more older. I have a younger person come out, and he was all in technology, right? Everything was noted and everything like that was communicated, all the stuff, but I love seeing that because you have newer generations of working on an old tech like a boiler room, come into play.
You're
Why
right.
don't you just upgrade that
Well, eventually,
boiler room?
yeah. I mean,
I wish I could
eventually,
do upgrade.
but yeah, I mean, it's funny you say that. You know, my mom and dad just had replaced their boiler, and the problem was the one that they had was actually highly complicated. So, but
It is a
they've
very
gone.
So
highly
you have one of those like
complicated
big cast iron. Is it like a big cast iron boiler?
Yeah,
that
there's
you
a lot
have,
of technology in these systems today. That's the truth is, there's an incredible amount of technology that is inside a lot of these, whatever it's a boiler or a generator or whatever it might be. So that's where you really need skilled field service personnel that are highly trained and been through kind of specialized education and have often specialized certifications.
Is there an age limit on that?
No.
No, I
good.
think
Okay.
I think you just have
Listen,
to.
I look to becoming an air traffic controller, and like you have to be able to retire at 55 or something like that. So it's the way that
That's a
system
stressful
works, you
work.
need to be able to. Well, then no, they want you to have time in for retirement. I'm like, dang, I'll be an air traffic controller.
Yeah.
So, well, John, thank you for taking the time to speak with us today. Enjoyed the conversation. Enjoyed having the conversation I had with you at Summit. And I look forward to seeing if you're going to have some special things going on at Summit this year. We won't talk about that. I know we talked about that, but we'll wait for that to be official. I want to hear about that as well.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, if anybody would like to learn a little bit more about ExpandIt's field service offering and the other services that you provide, what's the best way to get in contact with you?
Always best to contact me by email. It's jm@expandit.com. That's jm@expandit.com. Or you can certainly, anybody can just call me directly. It's 617 500-0890. That's a Boston extension.
I was just going to say 617 is Boston. Why do you have a Boston number?
All right, so it's a Boston number. So yeah, call me, text me, email me, whatever works. If
He's a
you can
Bruins
also,
fan, that's why.
Yeah, that too. You can also, if any partners and customers want to reach out, you can also contact us at sales@expandit.com. The one thing I'd add is we are 100% a through partner kind of business. So we work with the vast majority of the Business Central partners globally. But if there's anybody interested in learning more about our solution, just contact me directly. That's what I do primarily, a lot of that, partner development. So feel free to reach out anytime.
Excellent. Thank you. And do you spend a lot of time in Boston?
Not a lot, to be totally honest. I was there. I go for the odd conference here and there. But
okay, I was just wondering if you're ever in that area, let me know. We'll have to check out a Bruins game or something. Or get a cannoli in the North End.
You got it. I'll take you. I'll take you up on that for sure.
It's great. Thank you very much, and I look forward to speaking with you again soon.
It was great speaking to both of you. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you.
John.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
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 Thank you, Kris, for your time for another episode of In the Dynamics Corner Chair. And thank you to our guests for participating.
Thank you, Brad, for your time. It is a wonderful episode of Dynamics Corner Chair. I would also like to thank our guests for joining us. Thank you for all of our listeners tuning in as well. You can find Brad at developerlife.com. That is DVLPRLIFE.com. And you can interact with them via Twitter, DVLPRLIFE. You can also find me at matalino.io, MATALINO.io. And my Twitter handle is Matalino16. And you can see those links down below in the show notes. Again, thank you, everyone. Thank you, and take care.